Ripple XRP coin. So I'm going to be showing you how we can actually be getting support from these financial institutions. But not only that, we could actually be seeing some pressure being applied to them in relation to the adoption. We also have a recent interview with Gary Gensler and his take on crypto and the spot Bitcoin ETFs as well as the regulation. Of course, we will be looking at price action for both XRP and XLM coin today. So all I ask from you are two things, which is to smash that like button and to subscribe to the channel as well. So over here we have from XRP Daily talking about the XRP adoption. Now this was actually conducted at the Ripple Swell event, and it is the event that Ripple runs usually every year. The last one that we had was back in 2023, and that was in Dubai. But we could potentially be seeing financial institutions backed up into a corner where we could see that adoption happening, especially if we see other financial institutions coming on board with Ripple and actually utilizing their technology. And this is how we will be able to make a change. So let's first have a look at this.
Like a few months ago, I spoke with Miguel Villas, the head of XRP markets at Ripple. XRP is Ripple's cryptocurrency that we've been talking about. And he said, before he could even really have that conversation with banks to encourage them to use this as an on-demand liquidity tool, the market cap needed to be much higher, the transaction volume needed to be much higher, and there needed to be more exchange partners. So if it's just being used kind of for transmission like that, what does that imply about the price versus some of the kind of the retail use case or speculative use cases that price is going to go up?
No, look, and how far the honest answer is I don't know Bitcoin and Ethereum. Again, I don't know what the driver of value is there. I think, in fact, when you look at Bitcoin, the initial adoption of Bitcoin is all about retail, and that didn't pan out. And suddenly you have millions of people who hold it. They're just going to hold it. And so what's become the use case for Bitcoin is just a store of value. And I think that will persist, and somehow they landed on that, and that's maybe going to persist into the future. But XRP, it's really about this very fundamental driver of demand. Yeah, I mean, if XRP is going to be inserted deeply into the financial system, the market cap has to be orders of magnitude bigger. It has to be able to support institutional flows in the orders of magnitude of trillions of dollars. Today it's a lot smaller. I think it's right around $30 billion. But when you look at the
market cap, I thought, or are you talking about the transaction volume?
The market cap of so there's 100 billion XRP, and the market cap is trading around 30 cents, so it's about $30 billion. So yeah, I mean, I think that the current users and sort of the crawl, walk, run of growing the capital market, if you will, around XRP is going to be about fundamental demand, and that comes from companies like Veeam. And as more companies like Veeam start to use XRP and use digital currencies in their funding flows, they're going to be putting a massive amount of pressure on banks and larger financial institutions to start using this as well, or they're going to be toast. They're not going to be able to compete and be as nimble as a company like Veeam, who doesn't have to operate with any treasury overhead and all the costs.
And I definitely think that is a great point to make, when it comes to the competition out there, and the fact that in this day and age we are basically moving faster than ever before when it comes to these digital payments and transactions also being settled as well. We can't really be waiting days anymore in order to send money across borders, and so that is the reason as to why we essentially need that. Not only that, but on-demand liquidity is only beneficial for these financial institutions. I mean, the amount of intermediaries that we currently have with international payments is ridiculous, but with the more intermediaries that we have, the higher the cost as well, and that basically gets passed on to the consumer. However, if you use that on-demand liquidity, you are able to send and receive those payments instantly, and also being able to reduce the fees as well. Over here we have from Digital Pound Foundation that the Philippines are set to launch a wholesale CBDC within the next 2 years. So it definitely is happening. I mean, we've seen these pilot programs happening as well. There is a difference between wholesale CBDC and also a retail CBDC. It seems like as if that they want to get the wholesale CBDC out first, but you never know. I mean, the European region are also focusing on that retail CBDC as well in terms of the digital euro and how that can work out within the area in terms of spending. But we're seeing more and more countries getting on to that CBDC. Before we have a look at the price action for today, I want to show you this recent interview that we've had with Gary Gensler. Basically, he says over here that this is a field that's been rife with fraud and manipulation. Look at all the bankruptcies. It's not just one entity, it's after entity lining up in the bankruptcy court. And we're going to take a look at this to see what he has been questioned on. I mean, we all know our opinions now with Gary Gensler and what he thinks anyway.
By regulation. Is that the problem, though? It's not necessarily Bitcoin, the underlying asset, but more the froth and the potential for fraudsters to use it that has been
this is a field, Becky, that's been rife with fraud.
Again, he basically deflected the question, and the interviewer put it very well. It's not Bitcoin, it's not the actual digital asset that we are talking about that enables a criminal activity. It's actually what people are using it for, and that can be said with anything, not only with the dollar or the pound or the euro. It can also be said, for example, with gold or even silver. Many criminal activities have actually taken place outside of the crypto realm itself.
Rife with fraud and manipulation, and look at all the bankruptcies, and you've had on this set people talking about those various bankruptcies, and it's not just one entity, it's entity after entity after entity, and then investors are just lining up in the bankruptcy court.
What do you make of this? Goes to the underlying piece of this. You've heard Jamie Dimon say that he would close it down, that basically Bitcoin you've seen the comments, right? It's not just that he closed it down, that he would say it's used by drug dealers and used by folks who are doing all sorts of illicit and terrible things. There's very few things that trade today that people talk about like that. Now, there are obviously frauds and things that happen, but maybe not like this.
Like the dollar is like 100 times more.
I know that's your perspective, but I'm just I'm curious how you think about that.
That's true, though. This is how much has been money laundered with Bitcoin. This is how much. This is Bitcoin. This is dollar.
Yes, Joe. But look.
And this is absolutely great. What Joe is saying is exactly what we have all been saying for so long. In terms of the scope of the criminal activities, Bitcoin has not been used as much as the dollar. And he's making a very good point here. And this is something that we have to basically shove in these guys' faces when it comes to the SEC, because it still don't get it into their head. I mean, it's absolutely shocking that we have to even say this, right? You'd think that they would have some sort of common sense, but still to this day and for quite some time, we will always have more crime and fraud within the dollar than we would ever have in Bitcoin in general.
Here's the Jamie Dimon quote. The only true use case for it is for criminals, drug traffickers, money laundering, and tax avoidance. I know, but we have a guest.
That's his opinion.
We have a guest, Joe. What is your opinion? And what is your opinion that we have something trading on the exchange for the public that has this type of use case, at least as described by the president of one of the largest financial institutions in the country?
It's the leading market share in ransomware, and that's publicly known.
Right.
It's the token of choice for ransomware. Joe, if I can say, the U.S. dollar, the euro, the yen, you have the whole society using it as a medium of exchange. We buy our cups of coffee, as I see here. Right. We get paid in dollars or yen or euro. And you have a whole central bank and support for one currency generally per economic region. That we don't have here. So there's a very real economic difference.
Which is part of the attraction, since it's decentralized, and you can't have a profligate central bank.
It's not that decentralized, Joe.
Well, I know you're saying because of the ETFs, but really it is.
No, it's not that decentralized, because look how finance tends towards centralization since antiquity. Right. So what do we have? We have a handful of 3 to 6 core so-called crypto exchanges.
I understand, but the asset itself, the way that
that's how the accounting ledger.
Right, that's how the ledger. And
now, how many times do you have people on this show that say, "I want to invest in something because how the books and records are kept"? I mean, Joe, really? It's just an accounting ledger, a clever.
It's a ledger that everyone has, and can't be double counted. It's almost immutable. That's why people think it has inherent value.
So you trust it more than an Oracle database, or you trust it more? I trust it more than a lot of
the Bitcoin bulls say they trust it a lot more than the central bank that enables the fiscal authorities to spend money to the tune of $33 trillion.
I think we can all say that we trust it more than the Oracle database and these central banks. They're all basically a load of crooks, and there's a lot of corruption. So of course we're going to trust that more than those guys themselves. So price action of XRP coin today, we are currently trading at 0.5482. We are up by 3.05% on the one-day chart. For the 24-hour volume, we are up by 39.48%, and we're trading at $1.5 billion. So we're quite higher now on the volume for the day. In the earlier hours of the morning, we were trading at 0.5521. Now you'll see over here that we did actually reach this high at 0.5563, doing quite nicely considering the fact that we made that move up to 52 cents, then 53, now 54. So over here we have on the 30th of February, at 52 cents. And then on the 14th at 0.5247, nice climb that we've got. So on the 7-day chart, we are up by 6.9%. And on the 1 month chart, we are only down by 4.59%. So we really are closing in that gap now. Over here on the 30th of January, we were at 0.5365. Now we are currently 1 cent up from that. So my first price target was 53 cents. Seems like as if we're doing pretty well, but we still need to establish a support level there first and then head off to that 55-cent price target. Doing pretty well though so far on the 7-day chart. Let's see where we can go for XRP coin in the next couple of days. Looking for that 55-cent price target. So for XLM coin, we are currently trading at 0.115. We are up by 1.9% on the 1-day chart. For the week, we are up by 4.7% and doing better than on the month as we are only down by 2.7%. Really nice stuff. I mean, we went over the mid-range of yesterday at 11 cents at 0.116. Over here on the 6th of February, we were at 0.108. Let's see if we can establish support here first at 11 cents, and then we could potentially see that high range of the 11 cents and possibly head off to 12 cents. Guys, if you want daily Ripple XRP and still XLM coin news, subscribe to the channel and like the video as well.